You faced him, for those not aware, Jalen, you played against him in the NBA Finals. You were playing against him in maybe his most famous game ever when he scored 81 points. And I actually saw a story this morning that he was interviewed in high school, while he was in high school, and said that Jalen Rose was his favorite player, which I can only imagine how you reacted when you heard that. What are your thoughts, and what can you tell people about what he was like to know sort of eye to eye in the way that you did?
And like Stephen A. said, it's just devastating for everyone involved. His wife, Vanessa, now with 3 kids, basically to raise in this climate where they lost their father, they lost their sister. That's just heartbreaking to think about that dynamic. Knowing Kobe once he got drafted, I was living in Los Angeles in the late 90s and playing basketball with him at UCLA. And he was crazy confident, but it wasn't arrogance. It was more so, I'm going to be the greatest player of all time. And he's 17 years old, and everybody looking at him like he's crazy. But at the same time, he was working towards that. And as you mentioned, playing against him in the NBA Finals, when he won his first championship, and he basically had his crowning moment, overtime, Shaq fouls out, you know, the building's going crazy, he makes a jump shot, and he does the famous put his arms down. And if you notice, that is continued to carry. LeBron does it, so many people do it in all types of sports. And then working in the media. I've been covering the NBA Finals on television since 2002. So I've been to every one of his finals. I've seen every one of his championships. And to see him mature as a young man into a leader of that team, and then the face of the franchise, and then one of the faces iconically of the league, that level of maturity and discipline is not just something that all young people have. He spoke a couple of languages. He was really cultured. And it seemed like he did everything so very early, for example, getting married. Like he's been married 18 years, won an Academy Award right after he finished playing, started the Mamba Academy. Like he was on his way, like Stephen A. said, to be that entrepreneur. And the embodiment of Kobe Bryant, for me, while I'll give Jay a chance to talk about him, is all of the cliches that we use in sports, he actually embodied. You know, first one there, last one to leave, cutthroat attitude, thirst to win, never say die attitude, play injured. He embodied all of that. And his untimely death is really devastating for everyone.
Watching Kobe Bryant play basketball was exhilarating in a way that few things in sports history have ever been. So there's a part of me that just wants to ask you this question, Jalen. What was it like playing against him? What was it like being on the court playing against Kobe Bryant?
So a nightmare, because he represented, as an opponent, the worst of both worlds. He had mercurial talent and athleticism. He was really quick. He was really athletic. He played above the rim. He played mid-range, on the post, on the elbow. He shot the 3. He continued to work on his game. And you referenced the 81 Olives commercial. What a lot of people don't realize, and they keep using the word commercial, that was actually a pilot that I did called Jalen versus Everyone. And we wrote that for Kobe, and we had him show up to do a script. And if you notice, what he says is, how are you enjoying retirement? I've been doing a lot of investing. He was talking about a lot of the things that you guys are describing. And so that same guy, with all of that talent and all of that intelligence, that's gonna also outwork you and have a killer instinct to the point where he can get 50, he could get 60, he could get 70. And what I want all young people to pay attention to, I've been saying this since it happened. The most incredible thing about that 81-point night, he never talked trash. And he never made any highlights. When you see the greatest plays of Kobe Bryant of all time, none of them come from that game. Because if you trash talk, A, you get out of your zone, and B, somebody wants to take you out. He was putting the smack down so much, Greeny, nowadays, somebody do one crossover or make one shot, it's oohs and ahs, thumping your chest, pointing at the sky, pointing at the crowd. He did none of that. So that discipline that everybody talks about that he has, it plays itself out literally in that game.